Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Feast for Crows, chapters 19 and 20, The Drowned Man and Brienne. In these chapters, the Ironborn choose their new leader through a process which basically amounts to an applause meter.
Nice.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmit, who died in these chapters?
Okay, hold up. Okay, I don't remember anyone dying.
Seriously?
No. In Drowned Man.
Okay.
I should specify. I don't think anybody died in that chapter. And then in Brienne's chapter, we had the three peoples whose name I don't remember, but like we all know who I'm referencing.
The Bloody Mummers. There's Shagwell, Pig, and Timon.
And then also poor Mr. Nimbledick.
Yeah.
Just when you start to kind of be like,
well, at least now we can't say no one died and that we are in fact reading A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Did you like the chapters?
I did. I honestly, it was weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I really liked them. Like, both of them were kind of good vibes.
Why would it be weird?
I don't know. I think, like, I don't know why it was weird. I think I was, okay, I think because, excuse me, I liked Damp Hair more this time around, because it was just, like, a more exciting, fun little chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because it was him, I just didn't expect to, like, I expected the him of it all to, like, overtake anything fun that was happening. But it didn't. Like, it was good. And then Brienne's chapter, like, I liked it, but then Sir Hyle showing up at the end just took it to a new level.
No.
Like, you don't understand. Like, I thought this was, like, ships passing in the night, but now this ship can come to fruition. And I'm just like, wow, guys. Like, this is so great.
All right.
Yeah. So I think it's not that, like, I didn't expect to like them. It's just I liked them more than I thought I would.
I feel like nobody appreciated my arsenic joke. You said pick your poison, and it was like Hyle Hunt and like some other people. And I was like, I would rather have actual poison than any of these people.
I did see that. I'm pretty sure I put a laughing emoji. I just didn't say.
No, you put a death emoji.
Oh,
like skull emoji.
Oops. I think I was going in between. I was like, which one do I want to choose?
Why not both? Give me my validation.
Okay, next time I will. When I'm in between
anyway,
two, I'll just
it doesn't matter. I was just like, oh.
You were like, what the fuck?
I can't even remember the other choices actually, but
it was Sir Hyle, Asha's boy toy, Christopher or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because at the time I couldn't be bothered to look up his name, so I think I just in the question wrote Asha's boy toy, and then I think the third option was the one of the Kettle Blacks.
Oh yeah, okay.
The one that was simping over Cersei, that one.
Sure. I don't remember which one, but I will take your word for it.
Yeah, I was like, we've had a few simps in these last few chapters. Let's choose.
So now we do the summary.
Mm-hmm.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Damp Hair, he's getting ready, he's scared, he's like, I'm not gonna run away from Euron, I'm gonna stand up to him, this is gonna be great. Victarion's gonna do it. So we go through, there's a few like people who aren't very significant who try to run, but basically you give your speech and then you kind of bribe based off of what you have, and then like applause meter, you know. And basically no one gets chosen, but they make their arguments, and then at the end Euron is like, I got a dragon hypnotizer, let's go get dragons, I know where they are. Brienne, Nimble Dick, showing her the way. They're traveling. It's annoying, terrible. He's telling too many stories. But then she finally starts to warm up to him and like low-key trust him. She gives him the sword. They get to the Whispers castle thingy, and then they're like, oh yeah, there was like, and like Hyle was following them the entire time, and they get there and they find the 3 bloody mummers, and those were the 3 people that Dick Crab had like misled. And
Did you say bloodied mummers?
I don't know. I didn't mean
bloody
to.
Mummers.
No, I know that it's bloody mummers, so if I did say that, I didn't mean to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mishear all the time.
That's okay.
So, but I did enjoy bloodied mummers.
Well, they did get bloodied.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. So, I have no notes. Like,
whoa,
something happened.
You're doing the me thing. Oh, okay.
Something happened, and there's no highlights, there's no notes, everything has disappeared. So I'm hoping that'll make this a quick, you know, like a quick summary.
All right, okay.
While covering all the important things, obviously.
Of course.
So we open up from... It's Aaron Greyjoy, damp hair, and he's hanging out in the sea like he do, because that's what his deal is. And he's just getting ready for the big day. Just doing his little ritual.
He's
like skincare ritual thing. I don't know.
Skincare is crazy. Okay, we're immediately reminded of his trauma. Sound of a door opening, scream of a rusted iron hinge. We still don't like get specifics, but
anytime Euron Crow's Eyes mentioned, it comes up. So he's still very that guy can't rule us. Yeah, it's got to be Victarion, and that's basically his whole thing. And
he basically still is just like, oh my god, I'm not that fragile, weak man that I was. I'm dipping in the sea. I'm getting my strength. Like, he's basically pep talking in the mirror is basically this scene. He's like, I'm gonna stand up.
So they're at Naga's Hill. It's like, it's unclear to me really what it is, but to them it's like the sea dragon, the leftover bones of a sea dragon, which could be true, like it's a fantasy land. What I imagine in my head is just kind of like a rock formation, like formed by the sea in such a way that it looks like bones of a large sea creature, you know?
I think it is, because he even says like, oh yeah, that's what it used to be, and then the drowned god had changed her bones to stone. So
that because it's like, stone, it's not bone.
But they're like, oh, it used to be in the good old days.
Right.
But then the shape is still like the shape that they think it is, like the sea dragon vibes.
Yeah, and the drowned god, like in their legend, had ruled from this area. Like it was actually like a huge hall and decorated, and there was a throne and everything, and all that's left are the bones now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting stuff there.
Yeah, it's a nice little legend.
And all night he prayed for when the god was in him. Aaron Greyjoy had no need of sleep. And I'm like, I wish. I'm
dead.
And then no more than the waves did, nor the fishes of the sea. But fish sleep. Don't they? Like, fish sleep, right?
I'm sure they do.
Fish gotta sleep. Like, I've never thought about it before, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's thinking of... I don't think he's, like, thinking about, like... Because he's comparing them to the waves. He's like, oh yeah, they're, like, abiotic, and they're in the environment. Clearly they don't need sleep. Like, he's not like, oh, they're actually living. Like,
so let us know. Do fish sleep?
Fish definitely
That's the question
sleep,
of the week.
That's the question of the week. Do fish sleep, guys? I don't know. Yeah, but it's all of his religious internal talk, and he's like, he sees everyone like feasting and like having their morning breakfast, and he's like, drink deep, for we have God's work to do today. And I think the reason I enjoyed him this time around
Drama
is
queen.
Exactly. And his drama was coming out even more. Like, even with the way he was, like, emceeing the whole debacle, like, he was just like, now who's gonna be the... Like,
yes, he's so like an auctioneer, like, going once, going twice, somebody else please speak up.
Yeah. He's like, it was silent. Nobody spoke. I urged somebody to speak. Like, it's just so interesting and funny. I'm like, this little drama queen. Like,
yeah.
Hello.
But, so then it's like, okay, it's time. Let's go forth and sound the summons. And they gather everybody up, and it's all the, like, main people, plus all the captains, plus, like, everybody else. Like, there's women and kids and stuff in there, too. But they're, like, you know, obviously, you gotta go stay in the back. You can't sit up front with us.
Right.
And, it's...
Okay.
He's just noting everybody who's there. Like, we get it. Everybody's there. Yeah. Like, there's no notable... Well, yeah, there's, like... I don't think there's any notable...
I don't think there was
people
anything
missing or anything.
Yeah. Okay, so, but he's, like... He's about to start, right? He's like... When the damp hair raised his bony hands, the kettle drums and the war horns fell silent, and, like, all the voices stilled. Only the sounds of the wave remained. And then he's, like... He starts talking, and he's like... Aaron began slowly at first, so men would strain to hear.
Which is actually a real power move.
I know, but it's just so funny. Like, every single thing he says, I'm like, he thinks he's the main character, bro. Like...
Yes, definitely. But so honestly, that is a skill that I was going to say both of us, but I'm just going to speak for myself that we can use a little, because we're always like yelling, and if anything, people are trying to get away from us because we're talking so loud. Instead, we want people to be leaning in because we're talking so quiet, you know?
Yeah.
This is like I don't think you've ever seen 30 Rock, but there's a character in 30 Rock that's like trying to teach like the art of negotiation, and this is one of his things.
Really?
And I think Michael Scott also does this. He's trying to negotiate. He just like mumbles and
oh my god.
It's a sitcom classic.
Nice.
But you know where this is effective? Bruce Bolton does this, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was gonna say I remember us talking about this in relation to another character, but I couldn't remember who it was. So I just didn't say anything. But it was
scary. So like
exactly, bro.
It works when he does it. And I'm not saying it didn't work for Damp Hair, but he's just coming off as like you're trying too hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's also like we're in his head, right? So we can hear all those hear all of his little like, damn it, pay attention to me. Like this is not going as planned. It's like, you know.
Yeah, so that they do their whole Balon is dead, the Aaron King is dead, the king is dead, the men shouted. Yet what is dead may never die, and rises again harder and stronger, and blah, 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 blah. So they're like, okay, we all know why we're here. Who's gonna make a claim? And then...
No one says shit.
Yeah.
Because Aaron's like, they're not going to take the first dish set before them. They're going to pick and choose.
Everybody knows that going first is like putting you at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
It basically is like whoever goes last most likely wins.
Yeah, literally.
At that point, they're just applauding so that the day's over and like we can get on with it, you know?
Real?
I'm just kidding.
They're like, hey, we've been sitting here all day, bro. Like, we're finally getting to the good stuff, but now we're tired.
Yeah. So... Okay, finally, some guy named Gilbert
Farwind.
I don't remember any of these names, but
That's okay.
Some guy shows up, and he's fine, but like nobody cheers him on. Basically, that's
okay. Yeah, that was basically the whole point of him being there. But it was interesting. Like his lore was kind of interesting. Like he was like, oh, he's a skin changer, unholy creatures who could take on the form
because
of,
they're
like,
from
sea
like
creatures.
The other side of the islands, this really vast land.
And I'm like, this is so cool because it's kind of like, it's like similar to warging, but it's like different, you know, and it's like, and it's
maybe there is some. Yeah, like,
and it also seems like these ones are specifically sea or like water creatures,
right?
Which is also cool. So I'm like, I wonder if we're gonna, You know, if we ever learn more about
Well,
this.
I didn't take it that way. I took it as like anybody who we don't know slightly is just gotta be strange way.
Right.
But I was forgetting we're reading A Song of Ice and Fire and skin changers are actually a thing. So
Yeah.
maybe because the Ironborn are also like the first men or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
then,
Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, and his whole thing was like, we're gonna go beyond the sunset sea, and there's gonna be no winter, there's gonna be no death, and we're just gonna sail and basically live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be this land of equality and slayage. And everyone was like, boring! Basically.
Yeah. Yes. It just like nobody was excited. So
yeah, exactly.
his like a couple people cry out, but the cries fade to silence real quick.
Exactly.
And then it is this guy who I don't remember, but he's 90 years old and he's being carried up the hill.
Eric Ironmaker.
Thank you. I will defer to you with the names today.
Yeah.
And it's his like grandsons. He's got his grandsons with him, and like, you know, they're a real cool bunch, but this guy is past his prime, definitely.
Yeah. He did definitely have a prime. Like, he was great back in the day. He
60
was, like,
years ago, this one might as well have won the favor of the moot, Aaron thought, but his hour is long past.
Yeah, because he's known as, like, Anvil Breaker and, like, the Just. Like, it's just too late for him, but, like, he's a cool dude, you know? But then, once again, like, no one... Oh, and another thing, like, all these people give, like, little offerings, which to me, I'm like, these are just bribes. Like, hey...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were wondering about the chests that Victorion mentioned in the prior chapter, and I was like, you'll find out about those. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's basically the chests of stuff to bribe the voters.
Okay, lovely. This is a great... Because we were talking about, like, I remember last time when we did next chapters, you mentioned, you were like, let's see how this compares to, like, how, like, the Night's Watch did voting. And, like, honestly, I prefer that, bro. Because at least you have the illusion of, hey, I choose, like, you know?
Yeah.
This
well, but even like, in that, the cook who was running would, like, be feeding real good stuff. Like, people were trying to campaign in any way they could get.
That's true, but it wasn't, like, bribes weren't a real part of, like, a real public, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, like, an established, we're going to bribe.
I guess their logic behind this is if somebody can get this much gold or whatever, then they can lead us well, which is very flawed logic, but, you know, I see why somebody may follow that.
It's definitely a system. Like, they didn't throw this together last minute, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna approve, you know?
Yeah. So basically he's like, no one's bigger, wiser, stronger than me, and I have more heirs than anyone can count. Mm-hmm. Come on, cheer for me.
I have a question. Almost everyone's arguments mentioned, like, whether they have an heir or whether, like, there's someone to... Is that just, like, carrying it forward? Like, I don't get the appeal of that.
If they choose somebody and then they gotta, like, 10 years later choose again, like, it's a lot of work, you know?
Right.
I think they're just doing it this... Like, I don't think they're gonna have a moot every time.
Right.
There's, somebody dies.
They'd rather just have the convenient thing of oldest son moving on. Right. Okay.
I think so. So it's like, look, my lineage is strong and you can, like, vet my heirs now instead of, like, I might have heirs in the future and they may turn out to be Joffreys, like, you know? Like,
right, I see, okay. Because I just, like, I don't know, it was just interesting because we just hadn't seen that argument brought up a lot.
Right.
Like, you know? Usually it was like, look at me! But, like, in this case, they were all like, I also have sons who are sitting up front. Like, you know? It was interesting.
So... some people take up his cry, but then Asha comes up and she's like, hey, there's the chair, stand up and take it. Like, or does she say, is there a chair, or does she just say,
she basically is like, stand up
and I'll be the first to follow you. It's the crown, like, if you want the crown, stand up and take it. Mm-hmm. And the crow's eye laughs at this, which of course he does. Yeah. But the poor guy, like, he does, like, try to make the effort, but he can't quite do it. which really
Homie's
sucks.
literally 90, so
yeah, this
real hard to
George
get
R. R.
up,
Martin's having some kind of like an age crisis in this book because there's a lot of like, you know,
right? Oh my god!
like with Egg, I Dreamt I Was Old, and this like this is too much. I can't take it.
Oh my god! Yeah,
because like this guy was like one of the most powerful people around, but now he's like, just because he lived so long, like his body just can't take it anymore. Oh my god, I can't. Anyway, so basic. This line: the big man hung his head and grew old, all in the blink of an eye. Oh, just make me cry already.
Yeah, it was real depressing. I was like,
it was real
damn,
sad.
Bro. Yeah.
But
and then
yeah,
Aaron's like, who shall be king above us? Like, he's just like, okay, someone else, moving on.
Everybody's like looking at each other like, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? And then finally,
but this little I just like this little moment of like, someone was like, Victorian, come on, and Victorian was like, when I'm ready, like,
yeah.
And then it's like, Aaron was pleased. It's better if he waits. And I just was like, this is the most like dance circle shit in the world. Like, this moment was giving me.
Are you comparing it to an actual dance circle?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
am. Because it was like, because it's the thing of like, you don't want to go first because you want to go near the end and then show off your moves and be like, see how much better I am than the people who went before me. Like, that's the whole like ego trip of it. And it's like the whole like, people are like, Nuv, you're so good at dancing. You should go in. And then you're like, no, shh. I'll go. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm getting there.
I got my moves ready in my back pocket.
It just feels like, literally, and it was giving, like, like, every, like, dance movie in the world has those scenes of, like, the hero always has to go at the end, and it gets better and better as it goes. Like, this was the most, I was like, this doesn't feel like you're choosing a ruler. This just feels like you're trying to show off, like, your dance moves, Just, and it was just so dramatic and so funny, but, yeah.
Interesting
like,
analogy.
Like,
so, some guy named Drum does it, and he's like, oh, look, I've got a cool sword of Valyrian steel, and, why does it always have to be the Greyjoys? My island's the biggest island. And, yeah.
And he basically talks for a while, but everyone gets really bored.
He, like, starts giving lots of history lessons. At first, people are, like, excited by him, but as he goes on, he's talking for so long.
Yeah.
He literally says he spoke, and then he spoke still more.
Exactly.
So he's, like, giving this big speech, but then when it comes time to open up the chest, he doesn't have a lot. He's got, like, bronze.
Yeah.
Which everybody's like, okay, all right.
No throne was ever bought with bronze. And I'm like, so we admit to this being complete flat out bribing. Okay, great. Like, I'm aware that you're aware, okay, Aaron? Like,
So then it's Victarion's turn. And, Dampere does this, like, introduction for him. He's like, 9 sons were born, oh god, from the loins of Helen Greyjoy. One was mightier than all the rest.
They always do this, bro. The loins of Helen
this
Greyjoy,
line,
bro.
they were, like, really impressed with their, like, father's loins or whatever.
It's like that one line of, like, what's his face? Of Pod having the piebald Ronzi. Like, they just, George R. R. Martin just really likes that one horse species, or, like, mule species or something, and he just, same thing here, he wrote this and he was like, loin, Calon,
yeah. Like, it's also just a weird saying, so I just looked up the word loins, because I, like, know generally what it means, but I've, like, never really inquired further.
Right.
It means the part of the body on both sides of the spine between the lowest ribs and the hip bones. So, like a large like, it doesn't even mean, like, penis or anything.
Right. You could be referring to the hip, or, like, that general area.
Yeah. And also, like, it's their mothers who gave birth to them.
Right,
Like, if
yeah.
anybody's loins are involved, it's theirs. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
anyway, okay, this is too much talk about loins.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, but this was weird, because, so, Aaron's like the MC, you know?
Oh, yeah, but this is all rigged. Everybody knows, and this is him being like, I'm putting my vote behind this guy.
know,
So
but it's
anybody who
just
wants to
like-
follow me, follow him. Like, this is an
I know.
endorsement.
But this is such a conflict of interest. Like, what are we doing? Come on, my guy. I just was like, how are you gonna be like, who shall be king above us? And a second letter be like, from the loins. Like, you know? How can you... Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he does his little dramatic speech.
Yeah, Victorian takes his cue and is like, okay, my turn. So he does like the water blessing, whatever, you know, yada yada.
Like, look, I'm religious.
Yeah. So then he's got like a bunch of people to like champion him, obviously. And you know, he does his whole thing like, I was a loyal brother, and you know, my brother trusted him, and all this stuff. And you basically, his thing is, if you make me king, you'll get basically what you got from Balon, more of what you got from Balon.
Yeah, he's
and
like,
it's like
I've been
straightforward.
doing everything. Like, you know, he's like, I ain't gonna try to like wine and dine you.
Yeah,
I got my axe and I got my hands. You know, which I kind of liked his speech.
They've got like his like chests of silver, gold, gems, a wealth of plunder. So like he probably brought the most to this moot than anybody else. Most loot to this moot. Add it to the nursery rhymes. Okay.
Oh my god. Please.
So he gets a big crowd behind him. And the Damper's like, oh, is the Crow's-Eye gonna put an end to this now? And then, no, it was the woman. Sorry, my blood boiled over for a moment there. So she whistles and puts a
quick end,
end to this for a moment, and she's like, okay, is this what you want? Like, all this stuff, what my father got you was basically nothing. War and all these people dying, and, you know, we don't want no more.
Yeah.
And she's basically like, oh, Victarion's claim doesn't even make sense. He's got an older brother, but even better than that, you've got the own child of Balon. Like, my claim's better. And there's obviously like
people being shitty and like, you're a woman, and she's like, okay, so if I have tits I can't rule you? Like, what rule is this, you know?
Yeah. And she does her like, here's my suckling babe, and that whole thing.
Yes, queen.
Then she's got Carl the Maid, Christopher Botley, her boy toy from Ages Gone, and the Knights or Harris Harlaw, all like championing her. And people are making gross jokes, but basically she's like, what my dad got you is dead people, defeat, and just no good. What I'm promising is the good parts of the North, the stuff that's close to the sea that we want, and no responsibility over the rest of it. And you know, basically her plan she's like been talking to the Glovers and everything, you know. So
yeah, and she's like, yeah, bro, like, we're actually gonna succeed, we're gonna have a good time. Slay.
Yeah, and then she brings out her own chest. She's like, this is the wealth, like, this is what you all fought for. And it's like pebbles and pine cones and stuff.
Yeah. And
turnips. And she's like, this is what you lost your sons and brothers and husbands and everybody for? Like, is this worth it? I will bring you peace and land.
And victory.
Exactly.
And we'll become friends with the Northmen, and they'll stand with us against the Iron Throne. and we're basically gonna eat it up. This also was so nice because it was like, Miss Girl did not bribe. Miss Girl just spoke facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Any smart population would have elected her. But that's not what we're doing here today.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not smart. No, that's basically what I'm saying. Like, not all of them are the smartest. Well, because everybody's like, honestly, though,
they're all misogynistic. And
all
they're
the Americans like elected Trump. So what are we talking about? Nobody's smart these days.
I'm dead.
But it's the same thing that most people fall for, which is like, oh, they see like really short-term quick gains for themselves. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. Nobody has the thought to look beyond like 5 days.
Yeah.
Or the now. 5 days is too much, honestly, for most people. They're looking at the now. And it's just like, yeah, maybe I can learn to look more at the now, but definitely people can stand to look more at the future. And all of these are like, but the gold and the victory. Who cares if I and all my family dies 5 days from today or whatever, you know?
Preach to the choir.
Yeah. If only the choir were all these people.
Real.
Then Asha would be queen. But anyway. So Roderick the Reader backs her up. Mm-hmm. Go, uncle.
He's like, woo, woo. Yes, yeah, Asha.
Yeah, he left his like reading library tower thing.
Exactly.
And a bunch of people are taking up her cry more than the priest would have ever believed. Mm-hmm. All for a woman. Ugh.
Dear God, bro. And then, like, basically, it becomes like a Asha versus Victarion supporters fest.
Yeah.
You know? Like, some people are screaming Asha, some people are screaming Victarion. And it's just kind of, like, going back and forth. And then there's this line of shouts of Asha and Victarion surged back and forth, and it seemed as though some savage storm was about to engulf them all. Yeah. And I was like, oh, God.
Oh, also, forgot to mention, she brought her own, like, driftwood crown to wear.
Right, yeah. Slay.
But basically, they're, like, fighting back and forth, like, she'll be queen, he'll be king, blah, blah, blah. And then a horn goes off. Mm-hmm. And it went on, and it filled the whole world. And when it seemed the sound would never end, it finally does. And when the guy who's just blown the horn pulls away, he's got, like, smoke coming. The horn is smoking, and his lips are blistered, and there's blood coming out of his mouth. And it looks like the bird, like, I think that's a tattoo on his chest.
Yeah.
Is also bleeding.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
This is not some horn. This is some, like, fucking dark magic.
Did you just say horn?
No, okay, shush. I said horn, bro.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's fine, but I'm just like, bro, I clearly said horn. Like, horn. I mean, it's some horror horn. Like, it's just like, oh, well, yeah, he literally says, it is the horn of hell, he wanted to scream. And, like, yeah, like, the horn is taller than a man, and it has ancient Valyrian glyphs on it. And it's, like, red gold and dark steel. So this is not, like, some ordinary horn.
By dark steel, I think it's probably Valyrian steel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So this feels like something.
This is like an old... I mean, they tell us after. But, like, it's like an old, like, this is not some fucking horn. Like, shit is going down. Also, like, comparing this to, like Victarion's, like, everyone who came before Victarion, no one was really listening to, right? And then Victarion happened, and then Asha stopped it by whistling. And now Euron stops it with this death contraption. And it's just like comparing those is like terrifying. It's like there's no way we could have done anything with this scale, you know?
Yeah.
Like, terrifying, bro.
So Euron steps up and makes his claim. And he's like, I'm the oldest son from the loins of whatever.
Stop.
And,
okay, thankfully he actually didn't say that. The one thing I'll give him respect for, he actually didn't. Shocking.
He doesn't use those exact words,
but he does say that, yes.
He says he's the only living Kraken that has never known defeat, the one who has never bent his knee. He sailed to a shy by the shadow, and seen wonders and terrors beyond imagining. He's been to Valyria? Did he say that?
He says later, he's like, I found this among the ruins that were Valyria, so I think so.
Yeah. So, dude's seen the world, for sure. You know? Mm-hmm. And, just like, he's like, oh, all these other people's claims suck. What are they gonna get you? Nothing. What I'll get you is all of Westeros. And you know how? The way Aegon the Conqueror did, with dragons. Mm-hmm. And I know where 3 dragons are. And I know how to get them.
Mm-hmm. And my horn binds dragons to my will. Yeah.
Exactly. This is the horn he found in Valyria. Mm-hmm. And, honestly, I kind of believe him. I don't know, but I kind of believe him.
I definitely believe him. I didn't even consider him lying, actually. I don't know if that makes me naive.
But I can't, like, see Dany's dragons being taken from her just like that.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some kind of, caveat to the deal.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
A hidden clause, you know?
I think, yeah. And also, I think it literally says, like, hey, the Dragon Lords of old sounded such horns before the Doom devoured them, right? But there's no, like, it's not like, wow, these horns will work for just anybody. Like, for example, the guy we saw do it, like, completely hurt him.
Right. Yeah, like, if that guy experienced that from blowing it once.
Exactly. So if you try to get a dragon
did he blow it, and what like, is he the owner of Dany's dragons now, or does it have to be within hearing of the dragons? Like, what are the logistical
and also it's just like, because, like, what was I gonna say? Like, okay, so he, like, blew the horn and fucking, like, broke him, you know? So clearly this is a thing, like, you either need to, you know, like, God, how do you pronounce it? Mjolnir?
Mjolnir?
Thank you!
Wait, I'm not saying it right either.
Okay. Mjolnir?
But Thor's hammer.
Thank you. Thor's hammer. You know, with Thor's hammer, it's like, you have to be worthy. Like, that's the whole shtick.
Yeah.
I feel like there's, like, something like, because, okay, so it says the old Dragon Lords blew them, right? So, I don't know if it's like you gotta have it in your blood for it to not hurt you. So if Euron tries to do shit, it won't work for him. Maybe he's not worthy.
It's gotta be like a Targaryen or a Valyrian,
So, like, how does that work? But also, maybe it's a thing of, like, you don't get, like, you can't control the dragons long term, but maybe just because the horn is so, like, magical, you can have, like, temporary control over the dragons or something. Like, do you know what I mean? I could see that being more of a thing if the horn is in fact that powerful. Because right now, we don't know if the horn is just a tool for the Dragon Lord, or if the horn is or if the horn is the only powerful part. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so we don't have that information. No. But everybody in the crowd seems to be convinced by it. So the cries soon turn to Euron, and basically everyone is shouting for him. And, he's also got, bribes. So maybe he brought more than Victarion, but anyway, they both brought a lot of stuff. So he's got a lot of gold that pushes it over the top. Like, anybody who was any bit skeptical is now convinced. And yeah, and then the chapter ends with, even a priest may know doubt, even a prophet may know terror. He reached within himself for God and discovered only silence.
That's terrifying, bro.
Yeah. So, big deal. Stuff
Very big
happening.
deal. Mm-hmm.
What do you think this means for our characters? Like Asha, Victarion, Euron, we like kind of get, but like Aaron.
I don't know, bro. Like, is he gonna try and kill him? Is he gonna hold him hostage? Is he gonna use him?
Well, if he's like elected king, it's not like anybody's gonna be like, oh, they could be king. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, but like, are they? I guess I'm just like worried about their lives and like, what are they gonna?
Right.
You know.
I think that's a good worry to have around Crow's Eye, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Before that, though, like, there was just one more thing that I wanted to bring up. Like, it's like the. Hello, brain. Oh, yeah. When he's like pitching himself, he's like, "You guys call me Crow's Eye, and crows can spy death. Crows feast upon the fallen, and we're gonna go take advantage of all."
Basically, George R. R. Martin trying not to say the phrase "feast for crows."
Yeah. But still write an entire paragraph basically saying it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, eat Martin. You know, this is like the 10th time he's brought up this imagery, but slay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but okay, I think I'm definitely I'm worried, but I'm hopeful that like sexism will be on Asha's side.
In what way?
Like, he'll be like, well, she's just a girl. I won't kill her. Like, even if he kills other people. But I also don't see him killing other people because I feel like he's too sinister to just kill him, you know? Like, I feel like he'll either use them for something or, like, keep torturing his brothers or, like, be like, Aaron, bitch, you better tell everyone that I'm the godliest man ever or else I'm gonna rusted hinge you again. Like, whatever, like...
What about Victarion? What will his reaction be?
Well... he'll probably be real mad, but, like, what's he gonna do? Fight the king?
So is he then gonna, like, you know, bend the knee?
I feel like they might, like, have, like, an epic fight, you know? I feel like he might fight and try to be like, bro. Like, he's probably the most likely to fight, and then Damp Hair's probably the most likely to, like, sort of, like...
Flight.
Yeah, exactly. Fight, flight, and then Asha freeze. Hides, no one sees her, and then she can
I feel like Damp Hair is more likely to freeze.
That's true.
Because in these last moments, he's, like, trying to, like, find his direction, and
That's
he can't,
true.
like, do it,
but
you know?
I also don't see Asha flighting, you know? Like...
Right.
So, I don't know. I think this metaphor just falls apart, but it was a funny thought. It was a funny thought while it lasted. But basically, like, I don't know, maybe, like, I guess this brings me hopes for, like, I don't know, maybe Asha's, like, because, you know, Asha wants to, like, kind of have, like, peace and, like, negotiate and, like, you know, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe this is gonna be her going to Dany and being like, heads up, you know? Like,
oh, so on her own, she, like, strikes out and...
or, like, does something. Like, I'm not saying she's gonna, like, make the whole trek on her own, but, like, let's say, like, he's like, let's go get this bread, let's go get these dragons, like, when they're on their way over here, you know? And then, like, maybe Asha's one of the people who also goes. Like, maybe she pretends to be on his side now. She's like, okay, like, just keep me as your heir after you die, Euron. Like, she like, do you know what I mean? Just to, like, kind of be part of the plans, and then, you know? And then maybe, like, while all the things are going down, she, like, finds a way to, like, either warn Dany or, like, helps Dany or, like, something, like, maybe she can help stop this insanity that's about to ensue, you know?
Okay.
And then,
will he be able to bind dragons to himself? Just a yes or no.
Maybe for a little bit.
Okay. Will he be able to conquer all of Westeros?
No way, I would die if that happened.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's go on to Brienne then.
Mm-hmm.
So they've left Maidenpool. They're on their way to the Whispers, and basically the first half of this chapter is just them going along the coast, and like it's becoming fewer and fewer people. And she doesn't trust Nimble Dick, and she catches him like going through her purse one time, and he's like, "I was just checking that you were good for the money you promised me."
Yeah, and then like she's like, Pod, like, can you watch over me when I sleep, when we start not being able to sleep in an inn anymore, you know, that sort of thing. Because so far they've been like sleeping in inns, and like she'll be like, Kate, me and Pod in a room, you fend for yourself, you know, like I can't afford to trust you, you know.
If anything, I feel like Brienne has been too trusting in the past, and it's unfortunate that she's like become so suspicious, but like it's a good survivor skill, but at least she's trusting Pod, so like
exactly, like her instincts are kind of, she's like, hey, this boy followed me and has been on my side now, like we're chilling, you know.
And so they're just on their way. At one point they're like on this high point, and they spot like a rider way behind them, and they're like, is this guy following us? But they can't quite tell. Did you have any thoughts at that time?
I didn't. I just was like, oh no, bro, what's happening? I just figured, like, I don't know, it was just someone from the town who, like, maybe didn't like Nimble Dick, or, like, was like, what's this little guy and this tall girl doing? Like, you know, I don't know. Right. I figured it would be, like, someone random, like not necessarily someone that we just seen, or, like, someone who, like, caught wind of them being there or something, you know?
Right. During the whole thing, Nimble Dick's like telling tales about being a crab, you know, and all his lineage and all the cool things his family's
cool and
done.
Proud, and he's like, we know our bogs and forests so well, like, we can vanish into them when we need to, like, ain't nobody ever defeated us, regardless of all the times they tried, like, we're pretty cool, like, you know? And, like, he outlines all the times, like, people had tried, and he's like, we're just iconic, bro. And then Brienne's like, well, and then he basically is like, I can't believe you've never heard about us. We're so cool. And Brienne's like, that's okay. Like, all places have their local people. Like, we have the perfect knight, Sir Galladin of Morn. And then, like, they kind of, like, go back and forth, like, japing at each other. Like, no, your guy is, like, my guy would beat your guy. But my guy's cool. And, like, yeah. Brienne's guy basically just, like, his whole thing was, like, he had this magic sword that he got from the maiden herself, and then but it was so powerful that it was unfair to use in, like, a normal fight, so he only ever pulled it out 3 times. And then, like, later on in the chapter, she kind of makes reference to, like, it's kind of, like, her thing of, like, realizing when she has to use the sword and when it's trust, like, you know, that's her whole debacle this chapter. And, like, there's a time where she gets worried and she's like, should have used the fucking sword. Like, should have used the fucking sword. And she's thinking of the guy in the story. So it's, like, this nice little parallel between, like, her in this chapter and, like, trying to figure out where to draw the lines of, like, trust and battle and, you know, everything.
At one point, she's thinking back to the melee at Bitterbridge. This is, like, when Catelyn pulls up to her fighting Loras.
Yeah.
But during this whole tourney, she got the chance to fight all the people who were mocking her and were participating in that gross contest. So, like,
Brienne.
It was a real... She says every blow she dealt him was sweeter than a kiss. Because it's, like, the last guy was Sir Ronnet. This is the guy who was maybe gonna be engaged to her, but was like, no.
Right, okay.
So, anyway, she got her revenge, you know?
Yeah, but... there's a couple sad lines, like, when she's thinking about that story, she's like, when I was a little girl, I believed that all men were as noble as my father. And then later she's like, a maid has to be mistrustful in this world, or she won't be a maid for long. And I was like, bro.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and she's like, I hated, like, getting that lesson from my septa and stuff, but it served me well, because then when all the cruel pranks were happening, like, I was able to actually kind of be like, hey, something might not be right here, you know?
Yeah.
Which
so a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And then they're going on and on. Eventually it's like a lot of rain, and they stop at this place that's like just some rocks, and Crab's like, oh, we gotta keep a watch tonight. There might be some squishers around. So, like, I don't know, maybe they're real, but basically, so they're monsters that look like men till you get close, but their heads are too big, and they have scales where people have hair, and they have fish belly white they are, so they're really like pale, and they have webbed fingers, and they're always damp and fishy smelling.
They got sharp green teeth.
Yeah,
because they're like fish vibes. They give like a little squish squish noise when they walk.
Are these Varys's merman
Oh
mermaid friends? Like,
stop. Varys actually isn't a mermaid. He's just a squish.
Squisher.
Squisher, yes.
They make the squish squish sound. That's why they're called the squishers.
Right, yes. Slay.
And they eat little boys raw. So, yay.
Great. This is so great.
That one's directed at Podrick.
Yeah. But
Podrick's like, I'm fine, I got a sword.
I'm dead. You just, every time, like, Brienne kind of will be like, okay, Pod. And he'll be like, I can kill. And she's like, bro,
he did save Tyrion's life.
He did, I know, but it's just like, seeing a little kid tell you he can kill, and you're like, buddy, chill, But, like, during this whole thing, like, basically this whole chapter, like we said before, it's like, it's like, Nimbledick will do something and she'll be like, I don't know if he's just desperate, because he, like, clearly is, like, ill-nourished and, like, all those things, and she's like, she says at one point, like, hungry men do desperate things, this could all just be a ploy, and she's basically doubtful the entire time, but she's like, bro, I've come too far, like, like, at this point, I just gotta, like, she basically is like, he can't defeat me in battle, I just gotta keep an eye out,
Yeah.
Which was really sad.
So, they're just going. And finally, they get to the Whispers, which is basically this, like, small castle in ruin. It's got this huge weirwood tree, though. And there's obviously lots of stories surrounding it. And this is when they spot Hyle, but they don't know it's him.
Yeah.
And finally they get there. Okay, hang on. This is so much of getting there that I'm like, have we gotten there? So many pages of just getting there. They don't actually quite get there. This is when they get to a point where they can see it from far away. Oh.
I'm dead.
Sorry, there's just so much getting there.
There is, yeah.
Finally, the castle came upon them without warning. Okay, great. You can hear the whispers. We heard the story about the guy who would cut all the heads and bring them back, and his witch wife would enchant them and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's basically the sound of the sea. But it sounds like whispers.
Yeah.
And the castle's obviously in great ruin, but some parts are still standing. And there's like a postern gate that they're going to go through. And Brienne basically tells Pod, okay, you stay here with the horses, because they might want to take our horses, not because I want to protect you. And she gets there and she's like, this is not a place Sansa would go. Like, immediately she's like, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
But she's come this far, so she has to see it all the way through, obviously.
Yeah, but like right before, like as all this is about to happening, what? That was a sentence.
I get. We know what you meant.
As all this was about to happen, it's like only now Nimbledick is like, wait, Brienne, do you think they're gonna be mad at me if we find them here? And Brienne's like, nah, it's okay. You can just pay them back because I'm gonna like give you more than like they gave you. And this is so sad Because then instantly it was like neither of them could do anything about it. And I was like, this is so sad. And then like, and that was right after this moment of like, it was like when they were about to like see the thing in the distance when they're looking at it, and Nimbledick kind of puts his hand on her back as they're on like the edge of a cliff, because he's kind of showing her, he's pointing with one hand, but then he puts the other hand like on her back, and she instantly is like, bro, he's about to fucking push me off. Like, it's just the amount of like tension and fear is just insane. Like, and she's also like it's like that's happening, and then at the same time she's grappling with like she's remembering this story of like, you know, her Sir Goodwin guy, like the dude who taught her everything. She's remembering like how he was like, you're real good at fighting, but like we gotta train you because you're like
if it came to killing, you might flinch, and that would be enough to get you killed.
Yeah, and he tells a story about like his friend who was real good at fighting, but then he died because he flinched when he was about to kill his foe. And so Brienne's like, she has all this thing of like, oh my god, like, I've never actually killed someone, like, how's this gonna go, you know?
Yeah.
And now it's gonna go. Like, now we see how it goes.
So she, like, they're about to enter the castle, but there's something, like, stopping her, and she feels like she could hear whispers, and she imagines to herself that there's a head saying, should I use the sword? Should I use the magic sword?
The one. Yeah.
And this is when she gets Podrick to get her the sword Jaime gave her, Oathkeeper, and she passes her sword to Nimbledick, and Nimbledick's like, what's the what? And she's like, well, you gotta be able to fight. So, like, this is finally when she's like, I gotta trust this guy.
Yeah.
Because for, like, a minute there, she's given her sword over to Crab, and she doesn't have a sword.
Exactly. So,
like, that's a real moment of trust. So maybe ultimately, this whole adventure, sadly, the death of this guy, maybe restores some of her faith in humanity, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, ultimately, it's like a hopeful chapter, even though it ends in a really sad way.
Yeah. We sacrificed him for the greater good of her. For her great, like, to make her opinions better.
Because everything she's been through in the last, like, couple years has been, like...
It's always the worst.
Because we talked about how she's, like, very, like, naive, almost Sansa-like in her belief of people and songs and all of the fantasies and everything. But then everything's been happening to her to disillusion her. But maybe, just maybe, there is some good left in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because it's, like, the pod stuff. And then now it's the Nimbledick stuff. So it's, like you said, every other example of, like, what's happened, like, the stuff at Harrenhal, or I guess Jaime, too. Okay, yeah. So all the stuff happening at Harrenhal was all, like, bad, all the stuff that happened when she was hanging out with Catelyn, and all the bad was going down, bad. And then it was, like, Jaime, turning point, Pod, turning point, Nimbledick, like, I think I agree with what you're saying, because we're kind of getting that progression. And maybe Sir Hyle, too. Maybe Sir Hyle can be part of it, because
he can be a part of it. I just reluctantly gave in to that. Okay,
because it isn't the thing. Like, yes, I ship them, of course, but it's not just that. It's like the thing of like bad people can also change. You know, it's like that too. Of like he was objectively being terrible, but like now maybe he's gonna help him out. Maybe he's gonna be a homie on the journey. Maybe he's
actually remorseful for real.
Exactly. So it's like, you know, you just gotta scout out the good people. Like, same thing as Jaime. We're like, terrible, but like, he trying now, you know? Like, he's really trying. So, it's like, it's a nice little hopeful thing. It's like, it's like finding those lines of when you trust and when you don't. Like, even the guy right at the end, like, she lets him live and she's like, hey, dig this grave, do this thing. And then it's like, even, like, you know, he goes to kill her again. And it's like, sure, that was a risk, but it wasn't bad to put your faith in him in that way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was still, like, a good thing that you were trying to do. Just didn't work because he was a fucking bitch. Like, you know? Yeah.
So, finally, they go in. and it's real overgrown and just lots of stuff. And they see that there's like the remains of a fire there, so there was definitely someone here.
Yeah.
And
right before they entered, they'd seen like berries picked, so they kind of were like, bro, this is getting, because as we get closer we see more signs, and it's scary, bro. This was scary. Like, reading this, I was like, I don't know what's about to happen right now. Like, you know?
Yeah. And Nimble Dick goes and starts hallooing, like, all up and down the place, like, hey,
guy has
no... here?
Okay, this is really sad, but it's also, like, bro has no survival instincts. Do you remember the chapter where we met him, and the lady at the counter was like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said a thing of, like, if you're gonna be doing things, she was like, yeah, he did the thing to, like, trick them, but he's probably gonna get into trouble for that. Like, or she said something along the lines of, like, if you're gonna do, like, stuff that's gonna get you killed, don't do it in my bar. Like, it was something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
And it just, like, that was, like, our first sign of, like, this guy needs to be a little bit more cautious. And now it's, like, he went and got himself killed, you know? It's, like, he didn't even think of the risk of, like, hey, maybe these guys are actually gonna hate me now. Until he got here.
Yeah, but he's just so innocent. And
I know.
Yeah, this is, like, both like, you gotta trust people, but also not too much.
Exactly. It's, like, the dichotomy of him versus Brienne in this chapter.
Yeah.
And it's, like, yeah, like, I don't say that to blame him. I say that to just, like, kind of analyze, like, you know? Like, oh, like, that shit did get him killed. Maybe he should have thought about that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, then, like, suddenly, there's a guy that slides out of the bushes as if he had sprouted from the earth. And he's got this broken sword, and this... She immediately recognizes him. And this is the guy they used to call Pig. P-Y-G. How would you know it's Y-G, Brienne? How do you not know it's P-I-G?
LOL.
You only ever heard them say it out loud.
Oh my god.
Right?
Well, sure, but, like, that could apply to anything. Like, you know?
I know, but I was just, like, annoyed. I had enough of George R. R. Martin's substituting every I for a Y, okay?
Okay, that is valid.
So, anyway, then there's a second one who is, like, in the well. And she recognized, and Nimbledick's like, see, that's your fool. And it is the fool. It's Shagwell in Motley. And what happens? Basically, they immediately attack. And is it Shagwell who, like, gets Dick's knee?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets Dick's knee, and then...
But then... So, he's got the Morning Star, the spiked ball thingy, and he gets Shagwell in the... No, sorry. Shagwell gets Nimbledick in the knee, and Nimbledick's like, oh my god, leave me alone. And Brienne's like, oh my god, leave him alone.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens. Instead... He smashes his face in with it.
Yeah.
And Crab is dead. Immediately.
This was really sad, bro. It just... Because, like, the way it's written, like, you spend most of the chapter being like, oh my god, this bitch won't shut up, you know? And then, like, right as it gets to, like, the end of the stories, and you kind of start liking him, and, like, you notice, like, you know, he's just some guy, you know? Like, working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Like, you know, he's trying to live.
Just hustling.
And then it's just like, you know? And then, like, he gets killed, and it's just real sad.
And it's so immediate. It's real annoying.
And you also kind of, like, think back to the moments of, like, of course, like, Brienne's got to protect herself, and, like, she's got to protect Pod, and all of that's so valid, but, like, even some of the things he says of, like, bro, it's gonna rain. Like, you're gonna leave me to sleep out here? And it's like, I understand, and I probably would have done the same thing, but it just sucks, you know, because he's just some guy, you know, he's not a rich lad. I don't even know if he had anyone, like, you know, he's just kind of got his stories and his pride.
Maybe, yeah, like he was maybe the last crab and his line ends with him, you know?
Yeah, it was really sad, because he was real proud of all that, you know, and it's just like, sometimes that's all you got left, unfortunately. And also, like, there was a moment, because, you know, the castle, like, not the castle, bro, like, the I guess castle, like, they passed on the way for, like, Lord Brune or whatever.
Sure.
And she kind of is like, oh, like, you're talking a lot about Lord Brune, like, seems like you knew him. And then she kind of, like, is like, I think he was, like, a deserter, of, like, Lord Brune's, like, group or something. So it also kind of, like, there's this, like, implied history and, like, life he's lived, too. And it would have been nice to, like, learn more about that, you know? Because they kind of brought it up, and I was like, oh, okay, so you were, like, a crab, and then you got appointed as, like, fighter dude, but then, like, what happened? Like, you deserted, like, you know what happened. So, I don't know, I feel bad. Like, rip Nimbledick, bro. Like,
honestly.
That first time you were like, who or what is Nimbledick? I didn't think I was gonna get attached. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Rip every normal, chill homie who gets killed here. Like, okay, he wasn't quite a homie, but, like, theoretical homie.
He wasn't the worst.
Yeah. He was just a little annoying and, like, a character, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So then come out all the people and they're making really funny rape jokes. It's a great time because they recognize Brienne.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever. They're like, oh, yeah, we left Harrenhal because that place is a dump now, whatever. And Brienne's like, I'm not here for you. I'm looking for a fool. And Shaq goes, well, I'm a fool. And she's like, no, there's a different one. I'm looking for the one that's with Ned Stark's daughter. And they're like, well, you should be looking for the Hound then.
Yeah.
Because that's who she was seen with. Like,
yeah.
Because they're thinking Arya and she's talking Sansa, but still. Something, you know?
Yeah.
So they tell her, like, oh, he was seen with her and all this and blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, they catch her up to when Arya and the Hound left that inn where they wreaked a bit of chaos, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I call a bunch of murders, by the way, a bit of chaos.
A bit of chaos. Basically,
she is now caught up on the fact that at some point, at least one of Ned Stark's daughters were with the Hound. So that is some progress in this story, you know?
Yeah.
On this quest.
That's true.
Maybe she'll end up in Bravos. Who knows?
Oh my god.
I don't know. So
I don't know if she'll go that far. I don't have that much hope.
But, like, we've got some progress, which is something we didn't have before, so I will take it.
That's true.
But I don't know, they're talking to keep her distracted. Oh, what?
Yeah, they are talking to keep her distracted. But, like, my jaw kind of dropped open at this part, because I was like, these guys are talking to barracks people?
Well, probably they were torturing one of barracks people who told them things, you know?
Okay, that makes sense. I guess that just didn't register. Oh yeah, because they literally say, they're like, oh, we found out this from this guy we tortured, and then we tortured the innkeep and found out this. Okay, wait, yeah. Okay, yes, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're telling this whole tale to try to distract her, but she's not gonna let them. And basically, you know, she's like, I'll give you gold, just let us go. And they're like, well, we'll take your gold and we'll kill you, and just this whole thing. But eventually this guy throws her, like, gets in her way, Pig, and he's about to, like, I don't know what he's about to do, but she just kills him, basically.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't flinch, not when it counted.
Oh my god.
You see that, Sir Goodwin? Godwin?
Ooh.
Goodwin is a god. 2 O's. Okay. Couldn't tell for a second. I had to zoom in for, I don't know.
Please zoom in.
Yeah, so it's then, oh, no, she gets, yeah, so she kills Pig, then it's Shagwell and Timon, and then they're, like, arguing over, like, who's gonna get her? I don't want to get her. She's mad with Moonblood, because
oh my, that's
why not
the
add
only
that
reason.
in there?
That's the only reason she could have killed him.
Yeah.
Ugh, so annoying.
Exactly. So then, you know, fight, die, at least one of them dies.
True.
It's Timon who dies, right?
I think so, yeah.
So then Shagwell's like, okay, please, I promise, I yield, I won't hurt, just, like, let me live, I'm too droll to die.
I also love Pod in this scene.
You'll have to tell me what you love
sorry.
about him, because I can't tell.
Okay, you didn't react, and I was like, hello, are you there?
Remember, I lost all my
Okay, yes,
highlights.
no,
notes, so.
that's fair. I couldn't tell if, like, your audio glitched, like, you know, when you, because you didn't move, so I was like, his Zoom paused. What's happening? Okay, but okay, because, like, because as she kills the Timon guy, Shagwell's, like, trying to find the Morning Star and, like, do something, but then, like, Pod hits him again, and then he's like, I told you I could fight.
Yeah, because he's climbed the wall and joined in.
Exactly. And I just, basically the entire time this was going down, I was like, come on, Pod. This is basically your function in these chapters. Like, you always, you know, with the Tyrion thing of, like, Tyrion does the thing, and then last minute he gets saved, and then, like, Brienne does the thing, and then last minute Pod steps in. Like, that's his job.
Way to reduce a character to one thing.
Shush, okay? For the greater plot, that's basically all he's doing, bro. Like, and he's, like, being a nice companion.
Good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Icon.
So, Shagwell's begging, and she's like, "Fine, dig a grave there." And he's like, "Well, let him rot." And then she's like, "No, y'all can rot, but Nimble Dick is getting a grave.
Oh.
You've got your 2 hands. Get digging."
Oh my god! And then she's like, "I'm sorry that I never trusted you. I don't know how to do that anymore."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Damn it, bro." Oh, yeah. That was really sad.
This is they're burying him at this point. It's taken all day for Shagwell to dig the grave.
Yeah.
And they lay the body down, and then she gives him his 2 gold coins because that's what she promised.
Yeah. But as she's trying to lay the body down.
Yeah, before she did this. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
other things happened.
As she tries to lay the body down, like, she has her back turned, and she's instantly like, God, I just turned my back to Shagwell. But also she trusts Pod to, like, step in. So she's, like, about to do it, and then Shagwell tries to grab a rock and, like, hit her, but she's got a dagger up her sleeve. Once again, she don't trust people. She done knew this was gonna happen.
A dagger will beat a rock almost every time. Exactly. And at this point, I was like, what would a dagger paper rock contest go like?
Please. That's kind of funny.
Sometimes your brain goes places, but yeah,
no,
she kills him and she punches him, and she's like, "Laugh now, bitch!"
Laugh, but then he doesn't laugh. She's just sobbing, and it was really sad because it's like she's trying to trust, and she tried to, you know, and it's just the thing of, like, when you feel like you're getting let down again and again, but it's hard to see, like, the few where it was, like, good, you know? It's like, it takes a while to learn those lessons.
Cry she did.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, like, she's reeling from everything. And this is when, like, the Pod's like, why did you do that?
The 2 dragons. Yeah. And she's like, oh, it's a reward I promised in. And then they hear laughter. And this guy, Heil Hunt, is standing
the man of my dreams.
Top the wall. Okay, can you tone it down a little? This is too much.
No, it's not. I love this man. And he is
You know nothing about him.
I just know what I've projected onto him, and I'm cool with that.
Okay. All right. He's broken. You can fix him. All right. So he's there, and he's like, that is a real waste of good gold, but... She's like, I keep my promises. What the heck are you doing here? Apparently, Randa Tarley told him to follow her because just in case she found Sansa, he was gonna bring her back right away.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brienne's like, well, I heard she's going to River Run.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taken by the Hound. And Hal's like, well, he'll kill you or I'll kill him, she says. And then they both help cover Nimbledick's body and bury him properly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Brienne mentions, and it makes sense. So, like, obviously when they were just going on the path, it was like Hyle could just follow them, right? The thing was he had to be far enough back that they wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I guess... Okay, I do know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because now I've started.
Okay.
But as soon as they get to, like, they climb the little cliff stuff with the rock climbing footholds, and then they pass the castle of Lord Brune, and then they just go through the pine, like, depressing area, right? And then they finally get here, right? So, during that whole area, how did he know to follow them? But then I remembered the footprints, because they did make mention
they're
of
probably leaving tracks.
Okay, yeah. I just was like, how did he get there? But that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Slay! A little third companion!
Okay. So, they're on the road again, I guess.
Oh my god.
So now they're gonna go find the Hound, and will we find out if the Hound is reincarnated or some shit?
I think we will, because we're gonna hear the tales of, like, the Hound was off doing this, the Hound was off doing this, and then, you know? Maybe we'll go back to the inn where it all happens. The room where it happens.
Oh. Sorry. I will now stop making these sounds.
Yeah. I just wrote, yes, the romance we need.
Okay.
Also, because it's like a good, like, you know, like, the thing of when do you trust, when do you not trust, when do you forgive,
yeah,
when
it's
do you
a
believe
real
people?
Like thought story. This is why I'm saying, like, when you're reading it for the first time, you're like, where's the plot? And when you're reading it the second time, you're like, oh my god, there's all the thought that I totally skipped.
Right. Plot versus thought is basically first versus second read. Okay, well, yeah. Yeah, like, it's just like, and it's also interesting,
Plots
like...
before plots, sorry.
You know the thing I said of, like, every time Arya kills someone, I get a little bit worried for her. Of, like, there's no one teaching her, like, teaching.
Right.
I'm worried about her becoming, like, a mass murderer. And now we've basically kind of, like, made that happen a little bit. Like, potentially. Like, hopefully she... Like, you know what I mean? Hopefully she leaves the cult, but we don't know yet, you know? But we basically led her into that direction. Which, okay, sorry, side note. I guess I sort of was always kind of predicting that. Because I always had this little worry that she was going to become a mass murderer. And now she's literally about to take a job where she's going to become a mass murderer. Okay, anyway, moving on. Not a prediction to be proud of, but moving on. Okay, another thought. Oh, sorry, okay, second side note thought before I go back to the main thought. I was right that Euron becomes the dude. Okay. Now coming back to the point that I was trying to make. Okay, so the comparison with Arya, right? Obviously both girl bosses, obviously slay. But the thing of, like, as Arya kills more people, I'm, like, worried. But now, like, Brienne has gone from 0 to 3 kills in one day, and I'm kind of okay. Because it almost feels like it's, like, this parallel journey of, like, learning to kill people versus not. But it's like she's actually getting the teachings I want her to get to, versus Arya isn't. And, like, I guess it also helps that, like, Brienne kind of had a childhood before all of this stuff started going down.
Yeah.
So it probably helps to have some mentors along the way. And not just have a mentor who you saw killed in front of you, rip Syrio Forel.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, it's just, like, it's nice, because I feel like what I was looking for from Arya, I kind of get from Brienne a little bit. Of, like, you know? And,
okay. Well, my only prediction was basically, like, will she find the Hound? And you're like, yeah, we will. But
yeah.
So in whatever state the Hound is in, will he be able to lead her to Arya and or Sansa?
No. I think we'll just get more info, like maybe another lead or something. Like, maybe he'll be like, what do you mean Arya's not alive? Arya is alive. Like, you know, maybe it'll just be that confirmation of, like, Arya was the one with me. So now she has 2 trails to follow. And maybe then, by then she'll probably also hear that, like, wait, there's a fake Arya? And then she'll have to be like, is that the real Arya? And then the Hound will be like,
she
that's
already
not
knows
the real.
about the fake Arya. Jamie literally warned her.
Oh, wait. Oops, sorry, forgot about that. Okay, right. So then she'll, like, maybe she can help the Arya stuff. And, like, maybe she'll run into Catelyn. That's still a possibility that I firmly believe in.
Yep.
Because I feel everything is going down by the Trident, you know? But I guess everything is also...
everything's going on what?
Down by the Trident. But also everything's going on everywhere else. Every place we've seen, there's some major shitstorm. Like, you know? Yeah. My only...
Oui, baguette.
My only other thought from this chapter was just, like, when they're talking about, like, when they're comparing stories and, like, Crab's like, bro, the perfect night... Nah, bro. Like, what's the point of having a sword if you don't use it? And she's like, honor. The point is honor. And I was like, slay! And it's just such a good little quote. But it also kind of, like, makes sense, because, like, she's the one who was raised, like, as, like, a lord's daughter, and, like, he's the dude trying to make ends meet on the street. Like, it... You know, it also kind of speaks to who they are, like, you know, of her being like, well, honor, and him being like, well, you gotta survive, like, use the damn sword, like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was my only other thought.
Alright, let's move on to...
he was loyal to the Targaryens. At one point, he's like... Oh my god, the true kings, bro. And I was like...
Not them Robert Baratheons or whatever.
Yeah. I was like, damn, dude, go off, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Next chapters?
Okay.
2 next time. Hopes and predictions, please.
I would love to see Dany and Jon.
Well, you get neither of them.
That is great.
We're reading chapters 21 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 21 is the Queen Maker.
What? What?
Anywhere in the world where there might be a queen being made?
Is this like the fucking, Marcella shit?
Is it? Maybe.
Because my first thought for queen stuff is always Dany, but Dany is already, like, you know what I mean? This would have to be like fucking Jorah or like one of her companions or someone, like, you know?
Why'd you have to say that name?
You were like, jump scare.
Yeah. I need a trigger warning,
please,
okay?
Because we also just had Damp Hair as, what was his first chapter name? Oh, the Prophet. And then the Drowned Man. Which also, can we point out how, like, it's a little, like, sad. Like, because we go from the Prophet. Because that chapter is all him, like, high and mighty. Oh, yeah,
I was gonna say, it's, like, not, he's drowned as in he's, like, in over his head now as well.
Exactly. Because we start off and the Prophet is, like, he sees the King's mood. And he sees the vision of Victarion.
Yeah,
and
he's like, I can, like, predict, aka decide the future. Exactly. And now the future has overtaken him.
Exactly. It's basically just the thing of, like, building fake confidence. Like, he ain't building, like, you know what I mean? Because then it all comes crumbling down, like, you know? Because he's like, I'm not scared of my brother anymore. I'm not traumatized. I don't need to deal with any of this. I got God on my side. But it's like, he's not actually dealing with the things, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Queenmaker. I think this is... What's his name? Eris.
Okay. Eris Oakheart. Cool.
Eris, yeah.
So they're making a queen then?
Yeah. Wait, what's it called? The Queenmaker?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. It's also funny, because it could just be, like... it could also just, like... I don't know. It's just, like, funny, because it's, like... I don't know, because we just had, like, a Queen's moot, or, like, sorry, King's moot, and now
Queen's
it's, like...
moot, please.
We just had a Queen's moot, and now it's, like, Queenmaker, and it's just, like, this is very... And then watch, next time we're actually gonna get a Dany chapter, so it's just, like...
And then, like, a Cersei chapter.
Exactly! Like, we're really just girl bossing, like, you know? This chapter, that's why this book is so much more, like, internal struggle and thoughtful, because it's, like, you know, we get more, like, girly pop POVs, so they're, like, more thoughtful a little bit, sometimes.
Cool. All right, so chapter 22 is Arya.
Oh my god, Arya. Wait, we're gonna find out what has been going down, bro. Like, maybe this is like orientation week, you know? She's like...
What does orientation week in a death cult even look like?
Oh no, bro, you go, like, watch... You go... I don't know, like... I'm just imagining, like, their version of, like, training videos, and I'm like, what training videos would they show? Like, here are the type of swords that you're allowed to keep on you. Here are the, like, I don't know, I don't even know, or like, here's a map of the grounds, like, you know, here's a map of the world, here's all the secret, it's like the Marauders map, but for, like, death cults. You know?
Interesting. Like, you can see your target moving around on the map or something.
Or, like, you see all the locations. Like, do you remember that one time when, like, Rob's army had to get somewhere, and we didn't know how they were gonna get that way because there wasn't a main road leading, so they had to, like, go through, like, the little paths? It's like...
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't use the King's Road, and we were worried about them, but then they were able to still succeed because they didn't use the King's Road. They found, like, a side path that someone knew.
Yeah.
So, but it's, like, the map shows you all the side paths, so it's just, like, you're really good at navigating and stuff.
Oh, this is what Varys has.
Oh my god, Varys is actually a faceless man in disguise.
Could be. He knows how to, like, pull disguises real well, you know?
That's true, so maybe it's not disguises, it's just him changing his face.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, we've got a couple emails. Yay. Let me get those up here.
Let's do it.
Okay, they're amazing emails.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So this first email is from our beloved Yaya from Discord.
Yay! Hi, Queen.
It's titled, "In which I yell at you and send my application as co-host."
Eat. I love this. I will... slay. Eat.
Dearest Harmouth and Nuv, how dare you?
Thanks,
My
Aya.
boy Eris deserves so much better than this. A2 Harmouth, what a betrayal.
Stop.
Honestly, some manipulation is an essential part of any fictional, I repeat, fictional ship, especially if a woman is the manipulator. Just like you've got to season chicken before putting it in the oven, you've got to add some toxicity to the couple if you don't want to end up with a bland, hard-to-choose story.
Stop. That's what I'm saying. Brienne and Sir Hyle. Brienne and Sir Hylecore.
Unless you're diving headfirst into a fluffy romance, of course. In that case, you're making dessert, so sprinkle in sugar and spice and everything nice as needed. I digress. The point is, this is a princess and her knight trope, where he's entirely devoted to her and she's using him, but ends up liking him. You cannot tell me that Ariane isn't sweet on him too, albeit reluctantly.
Exactly! I did say that, okay? Sorry, side note. People in the Discord were like, oh my god, I shipped them. Oh my god, I shipped them. I can't believe you guys hated on them. I spent a good amount of time saying how I wanted to believe in them so much. As much as I hated
I think
on
I convinced you over to my side a little too much.
But the thing is, I was still on the side. Just because I hated on him doesn't mean I don't think he's a slay goofball who I love. You know? Just because I'm hating on him doesn't mean he's not great. Anyway.
This next sentence is somewhat redundant then.
Okay.
Harmouth, reclaim your power and stand with me to serve this righteous cause.
No,
this leads me.
Like, I was on the side. Eventually it was fun to make fun of him, so I did it too. Like, you know? Anyway. Continue.
All right. This leads me to my next point. If Mott's is to be Nav's successor, I'm down to be Harmouth's.
Oh!
My qualifications. Number 1. I've read 4.5 of the main books, and I'm so deep into A Song of Ice and Fire TikTok and Twitter that I may as well just succumb to the algorithm and accept my fate as a hopeless nerd.
Stop.
Now, you may be thinking, how does that make you qualified to replace Harmouth, who is still unspoiled on, like, half of this universe? Great question. Honestly, it doesn't, but I'm dramatic enough that my reactions would be fun nonetheless.
Stop. That's so funny.
Number 2, as I've said in point 1, I've been told I'm funny by people in the Symposium cult. Whether that's true or y'all just got bad sense of humor is beyond me, but it appears people find me entertaining.
That's so
You are
funny.
plenty entertaining, probably much more than any of us.
Yeah, you're so funny. Every time you send something, it gives me life, bro. Like, slay. Like...
Number 3, I'm a hopeless romantic and somewhat of a musical theater nerd. I can enact the entirety of Legally Blonde the musical by myself in the shower. I've done it before. If that's not Harmouth Codade, I don't know what is.
Stop. We gotta do that together. We need a special bonus episode where it's just me and...
Yeah,
thank you. Brain. I saw the name and I forgot how to pronounce it. No, it's just me and Yaya reenacting it, and that's the whole episode.
Okay. Number 4. Harmouth herself once said, I'm one of her favorite people here. Yes, it was almost a year ago and no one remembers but me, but I wear it as a badge of honor and you'll have to pry it from my gold dead hands. Cold dead hands.
Please. That's beautiful. I love that. I do remember saying that, and I stand by it. So, yeah.
Number 5. Mott's and I get along really well and have proved to be excellent at discussing media with one another in our watch parties of various shows, and have even discussed starting a hypothetical podcast together.
Whoa.
And we already have some running gags too. You two were literally the only two people there. There's no way for us to judge the validity of that cake. I'm sorry. You two were literally the only people there. There's no way for us to judge the validity of that claim, you may say. And you'd be correct, but, like, just trust me, okay?
Stop, that's so funny.
Have I ever lied to you? Nope. In fact, I have been embarrassingly honest in the Discord server many times. People there know things about me they probably wouldn't want to have discovered. Oh well, I guess you're getting more truth bombs if I do end up inheriting the co-host chair. Which I hope never happens, because I'd like for you to stay very much alive, or, like, for, like, the next century. Oh my god, I don't know if I want to be alive for the next century.
Oh my god.
But that's a nice sentiment.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I don't know how effective it is to yell at the people who are supposed to hire me right before handing in my resume, but that's just good old Yaya, whose honesty you can never dispute for you guys.
Aww.
In hopes you'll hire me to fill this imaginary and very much not vacant position, Yaya.
Aww.
P.S. Love you guys very much, even when you're clearly wrong about zipping men.
Honestly, I am so down for this.
Do we approve this application?
I do approve this application, but also, here's my thing, right? I completely approve this application, and I also agree with, like, the Mott's replacing you,
Okay.
Yaya replacing me whole thing, because I honestly, I see the vision, and I have bought into it. However, you know what I also think? The only thing that could make the vision better, third co-host. Because if we're already changing it up...
So we're taking another application.
Exactly, yes, we are. Because if we're already... Like, I was just thinking, and I was thinking, like, as you were reading, I was like, you know how chaotic that podcast would be? And then I was like, you know what would make it even more chaotic? Instead of occasionally having a guest, always have a third person. And then, like... So, I don't know, guys. Like, send in applications. Like, who wants to be the third co-host? Because the thing is...
Named... Hav.
Hav.
Who will replace Hav? Or Narmouth.
Narmouth is crazy. Stop. That's so funny.
Is that our ship name? Oh my god.
That is our ship name.
But I love that, like, Mott's and Yaya have built this, like, friendship.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I feel like it's due to the podcast, and that just makes me happier.
Yes.
I don't think they knew each other before.
They definitely I know that they did it, bro. And it's so cute, because, like,
we should have a watch party together. We should, like, have a watch party on Discord. Okay.
Yeah.
We gotta do that,
bro,
like, in December or something.
I've pitched this to you before, and you were like...
Yeah, but it never at the right time.
Okay. All right.
You know...
Okay, wait, what are we doing a watch party of?
If we're talking about
what are we
scheduling things, who rescheduled this very recording 4 times?
I'm sorry. It was not 4 times. However, I am sorry.
Really? Are we counting?
I don't think it was 4 times.
We'll count after this recording.
Okay. What are we watching? Watch partying?
but like, let it be non A Song of Ice and Fire related.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Let's watch Legally Blonde, or let's watch Home Alone if it's December, or like any time of the year really, but like, something else.
Eat. Okay. Eat.
Okay.
I'm down.
So, Yaya, we're pleased to inform you your application has been approved. It does not need any improving.
Exactly. It's perfect. You're the perfect
welcome
candidate.
to the airship, or I don't know.
Yes.
What are we calling it? I don't know what we're calling
this
it.
This is our legal notice to the universe that Yaya. Oh my god, in my head it's Aya. I'm sorry. Yaya is my replacement.
I think we said Aya at one point, and then Yaya was like, y'all, it's literally Yaya.
Yeah, and I think my problem is when I do something wrong once, it ingrains into my head. You just gotta keep doing
it wrong.
Yeah, but anyway.
Well, maybe we're wrong again. Who knows?
That's okay. We'll find out. Let us know. Okay, send third co-host applications, because I think that we should go from making this A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium to A Song of Ice and Fire Chaos, I think that they should rename the podcast Chaos and make it super chaotic and fun and slay.
All right. So, next email is from Lake Tax, and they joined Discord very recently, so welcome.
Slay, homie.
It's titled, No Idea for a Subject. Hope you don't mind me rambling a bit. We do not at all. It's all we do. Hey there. I've just caught up with the podcast after binging it for the past month or so on YouTube. And oh my, I witnessed years of you and your relationship evolving in such a short amount of time that it feels like blank. There's spoilers. There's actually a bunch of spoiler things, so I'm just going to be saying blank a lot.
I see.
But they're very excited by our evolution.
Nice. Slay. Wait, I didn't think about it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad Harmouth is enjoying Feast. It feels like most of the authors out there keep their world building fairly minimal, which is fine, of course. But personally, I tend to stop enjoying the story once I'm not learning anything new about the setting/world.
Ooh.
You know what? I get that. So to me, letting the story grow with the Dornish and Ironborn plots feels like the best thing George could have done with the series. Plus, he connects them really well to everything else around. What can I say? He's a great gardener. I'm a big fan of the Song of Ice and Fire YouTuber called, I think this is just the name of the YouTuber, so I'll say it because you just don't go Googling it, called Preston Jacobs. And his theories feel like an extended canon for me, to be honest. Ooh. When you finish the 5th book, it'd be interesting to see how you feel about blank, and especially the fanfic for the 6th book that George has not yet completed.
Wait, what? There's already... Oh, it's like a continuation of 5th. I thought you meant it was like... Okay, I got lost in the sentence. Okay.
It's because I modified the sentence to not include spoilers.
I see, okay. I was
doing it on the go, and I just, whatever.
I see.
I'd also like to share my personal headcanon that Alaris is trans. It makes so much sense. Of course, a queer person who would love such a big and culturally interesting city as Old Town. Where else could we meet and form communities before the age of internet, right?
Ooh.
Also, because of blank, I think all of that is a spoiler, so I'm just gonna leave it at blank.
Lovely.
But basically, you know what? I can see that. I am behind.
Okay, well,
Alaris is trans.
I know nothing about Alaris, so I have no opinion. So far, I don't know. I mean, could be trans or could just
all for queering every story. So let's just
make it canon.
Just do it.
I'm dead.
Exactly. Just do it. Anyway.
I'm dead.
Thank you so much for your work. It's not only helping me fall asleep, but I would also listen to the podcast when distressed in order to better concentrate on the things I needed to do. Oh, we're glad somebody can be distressed. Or no, de-stressed. Oh my god. No, wait. Someone can relieve stress by listening to the podcast.
Someone can de-stress when they're in distress.
Yeah, I was trying to say it, but every time I said de-stress, it sounded like distress.
Right.
So. Anyway. Done in the light of the Lord, lake tax. They, them.
Done in the light of the Lord is crazy. Oh my god. Slay Lake Tex. You're so cool. Thank you for writing. Is it their first time emailing?
Yes.
Okay.
P.S. Would you be interested in maybe reading some of George R. Martin's short story in the next book interlude? They can really shift one's perspective on A Song of Ice and Fire. I would be definitely interested in looking into that. I am not familiar with many of his other works. I think I was trying to say works, but then I got bundled.
LOL.
Confundeled. I don't know. I know he wrote a story about vampires that I want to read.
Yeah.
Nothing like Twilight, I hear.
That's funny.
But send us some like names and recommendations, and we will definitely look into it.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for listening. It's so cool that we're like, people are listening to what we did like 4 years ago now. It's a little weird, but like also it's fun.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Slay. We look forward to hearing from you more and your Discord contributions.
Yes. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh my god. Fantastic emails. Send more.
Yes. Become our third co-host, inheritor.
Become a third co-host today.
Maybe not today. We have enough chaos between us. But if Mott's and Yaya want more chaos, become their third co-host.
Yes. I meant like, I was like imitating those ads.
Right.
Yeah. And then it's like, the disclaimer is, you may never find time to record, and also life may get in the way of fun things. It sucks. Okay, anyway, that's a sad note, but also something I want to talk about.
Segue.
Which is, I think we need a bit of a break. I'm feeling a bit burned out, not because of the podcast, but like because of all the things going on. It's like I need to take a break from one thing, and the only thing I can take a break from is this.
Yeah.
Because all the other things are actually about to amp up. So, are you cool with this?
Yeah.
I was thinking that we would take a break for the month of September and not release, and then release starting in October.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll make like an official announcement somewhere, but that's kind of the plan, you know?
Yeah.
Like if we have an official date for when the next episode will be coming out, just like probably in October.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Are you
month,
cool with
Spooktober?
Sorry. Are you just to give people like something definite? Would you be cool with us saying like first week of October, or do you think we might have to extend? So you don't want to say a date?
I think first week of October should be okay, but
okay. So like tentatively October 2nd.
Yeah, so just like a month. We know you'll miss us. We'll miss you, but you can join the Discord and re-listen to all the other episodes and then tell us how weird we were and how we're not at all weird now.
Boost our egos a little bit. Actually, okay. I would be a little bit offended if you said we're not weird anymore. Tell us how we're weird in cooler ways now. Do that. That'll hype me up.
Here's some homework. Somebody put together our book of nursery rhymes. In the meantime.
Stop. Yeah, you guys have a month. Go.
Everybody take up like 5 episodes each, like, you know, and then like everybody's
we make a Discord channel just for people to coordinate the nursery rhymes, and then it's like people take like, hey, episode 1 to 5, episode, like, you know, then we go through the episodes.
Yeah. But thanks for listening, like always. We really enjoy doing this, and more than anything, it's when we get like emails or like discourse on Discord, like that's the times when I'm like, oh, this like is so
nourishing.
This adds so much to my life, you know?
Yeah. I literally I feel like I'm a plant, and I'm getting like, that's like I see like my homie, the homie
sun. You're like the sun and we're like plants.
Thank
okay,
you.
The end.
I was getting lost.
So send us emails. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at popculturesymposium. I think that's the same for Facebook now. I don't do Facebook or Instagram anymore. So haha. Anyway, what I do sometimes. I said do. Discord. Join us there.
Do Discord. But our Discord is not doo-doo.
Okay. I think it's time to call it a night. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.